We're going to take a look at the header beam connection. And to do that, we're going to come to the Advance PowerPack tab, Connection section, and left-click on the PowerPack connection vault. When we do that, a tool palette will appear with 29 connections that are not available with Advance Steel. You can use these to place in connections such as the header beam that we'll be looking at today. And the header beam allows you to place plate connections in between the column and beam. If I left-click on this, I can come down and pick my column, right-click to accept, pick the beam, right-click to accept, and a connection will come in based on the previous settings. The dialog box then appears, and we can go through those settings. You'll see you have in here the ability to adjust your plates. The plate that goes along the rafter, you can set the length, width, thickness, and offset. And the beam on the column along the back can also be adjusted with the same options, as well as an offset to pull the sides in at the top and the angle for the transition in between. We then have an area for bolts, which allows you to define the different bolts that get used, what are the different sizes and types of bolts that are placed, and the rafter stiffeners. So in here, if you want, you can adjust the stiffeners to none, one side, other side, or both. You have column bolts, which controls the bolts along the column, how many you want in each direction, what are the offsets, and you can create two different patterns of bolts, so that way you can adjust them separately if need be. You also have the ability in here to say what are the two different groups, how are they placed, and you can see you can place these along gauge line as well as center line. Set the different distances and the intermediate distances in between if center line is used. Rafter bolts provides the same options as the column bolts, whereas you can determine how many bolts in each direction, the offset, and create a second group. And again, set all the distances for each one, including using gauge line if needed. Your optional stiffeners allow you to come in and decide whether you want to place slope stiffeners on one side, the other, or both, or none, and column stiffeners as well, so you can place these in. You then have control over what are the chamfer values on these stiffeners and the plate thicknesses that get used. As for the welds that are placed in, you have control over each weld, what the thicknesses will be when they're placed in along the different edges. And in the end, you have the ability to go in and save your settings, so that if you want, you can just simply left-click on it, and you'll see that everything will adjust according to the settings that you've saved, and you'll get your bolts, stiffeners, and plates in at the sizes and values that you want. In the end, you'll end up with a connection that looks something like this. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Have a great day.